Anh ơi, bây giờ phải làm như nào nhỉ?
Anh cần cho tôi giúp đỡ vì cái gì? Tôi cần sự đồng ý của đồng chí Thành để xin thêm hai đồng chí đi theo tôi.
Này, mẹ ơi, mẹ nghe con nói không ạ? Mẹ biết sao đấy ạ?
The first light of dawn pierced through the thick morning mist that draped the sprawling Plum Orchard. The air heavy with the tart, intoxicating scent of ripe fruit hanging from ancient, gnarled branches, their deep purple skins catching the golden rays like precious gems. Diep moved gracefully among the trees, her woven basket swaying with each step as she reached up to pluck the juiciest plums, her fingers deftly navigating the thorny twigs. The uploaded photos painted this vivid scene. Workers in wide-brimmed hats bending over similar groves, their silhouettes framed by vibrant greenery, baskets overflowing with fruit under a soft, diffused light, the distant chirping of birds blending with the rustle of leaves. "These clusters are massive," she whispered to herself, marveling at a particularly plump bunch, the weight a silent promise of a profitable day. "So many ripe ones. Maybe I'll ask the farmer to let me harvest more when autumn rolls around. This could be a gold mine." After a brisk hour, her basket brimmed with plums, their sweet aroma mingling with the earthy dampness as she prepared to head to the market, her spirits high. As she trekked along the winding, dusty path, the photos shifting to a quiet, desolate roadside bordered by wild grasses, her heart lurched. There, slumped against the rough bark of a weathered tree, lay her ex-mother-in-law, her frail frame trembling in the cool breeze, her face pale and drawn. "Oh no, Mother!" Diep gasped, dropping her basket with a soft thud, the plums rolling slightly on the ground. She rushed forward, kneeling beside the woman, her hands gently lifting the older woman's head. "Mother, can you hear me? What's wrong?" The woman's eyes fluttered open, a faint recognition flickering through her haze. "Diep, is that you, child?" she rasped, her voice frail as a whisper. "Yes, it's me. Why are you here like this?" Diep asked, her tone thick with concern as she propped her against the trunk, brushing dirt from her shoulder. The woman coughed weakly, her breath shallow and uneven. "I've been feeling faint lately. My blood pressure swings wildly up and down. I overexerted myself." Diep nodded, her brow furrowing with worry as she rummaged through her bag, pulling out a small water bottle, the plastic crinkling loudly in the stillness. "Here, drink this. Thank goodness I brought some along. How do you feel now?" The woman sipped slowly, the color creeping back into her cheeks as the cool liquid soothed her parched throat. "A little better, but why are you here, Diep?" Diep offered a gentle smile. "I've been harvesting plums to sell. Life's been manageable, mostly farming to get by. I heard you and Father are still healthy, but what about Pao?" The woman's expression darkened, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Pao, he left us. He found out he's not my biological son and just walked away, leaving us behind." Diep's eyes widened, a mix of shock and sympathy washing over her. "He's not your son? That must have torn you apart." The woman nodded, her voice trembling with emotion. "Life doesn't always bend to our wishes, but we're coping better now. Seeing you brings some light, though." Diep squeezed her hand, her touch warm and reassuring. "I'm glad to. Please take care of yourself. I can't bear to see you like this." The woman managed a faint smile, her strength slowly returning. "I will. Thank you, Diep. I don't know what I'd have done without you today. I should head home now, though." Diep reached into her pocket, pulling out a small wad of crumpled bills. "Take this for your needs, Mother. It's not much." The woman shook her head firmly, her resolve hardening. "No, keep it. Your kindness is enough. I'm grateful beyond words." Despite Diep's gentle insistence, she refused, rising unsteadily to her feet. "I'll be fine now. Take care, Diep, and stay safe." As the woman shuffled away, disappearing into the morning haze, Diep gathered her scattered plums, her mind swirling with concern. Unbeknownst to her, a darker plot was unfolding miles away. The uploaded photos revealed a dimly lit room in the city, men hunched over a table strewn with maps and papers, the air thick with tension. "Brother, we've pinpointed Diep's location," a young man reported, his voice hushed and urgent. "Where is she?" the leader snapped, his eyes narrowing with intent. "She's in a remote area far from here, isolated." The leader leaned back, a cold smirk playing on his lips. "Don't move yet. Let's keep James in the dark. We'll strike when the time's right." The younger man hesitated, his brow furrowing. "So no action now?" The leader's glare silenced him. "Do as I say, no questions. Track her every step, report back with details." The man nodded reluctantly. "Yes, boss. I'll head out now." The leader waved him off. "Take it slow. Observe how she handles things first. We need the perfect moment." As Diep resumed her journey, the shadow of John's scheme loomed larger, a silent threat creeping closer. At the bustling market, the photos burst with life, colorful awnings flapping in the breeze, vendors shouting over the hum of barter, and tables laden with goods. Diep set up her plums, arranging them in neat piles, their glossy skins catching the sunlight and drawing a crowd. A woman approached, her eyes lighting up. "These are stunning. How much?" Diep smiled warmly. 10,000 VND per kilo, freshly picked this morning. The woman inspected a plum, nodding approvingly. "Give me 10 kilos, but cut the price a bit for resale." Diep calculated quickly. "Fair enough, 95,000 VND. Thank you." As she packed up, another buyer lingered near a toy stall, the photos showing vibrant trinkets glistening with dew. "Too expensive," he muttered, moving on. Diep turned to a nearby vendor, curiosity piqued. "Do you buy fruit from locals?" The woman nodded. "Yes, bring anything you have next time, we'll take it." Diep grinned. "I'll do that, thanks so much." With her basket lighter and her heart buoyed by the day's success, she headed home, oblivious to the watchful eyes tracking her every move. The afternoon rain fell in a steady drizzle, turning the village paths into muddy streams, the uploaded photos capturing people huddled under umbrellas, their faces set against the wet gloom. Diep wandered through the market, her raincoat rustling as she paused at a stall of children's toys, bright cars and dolls gleaming under the damp light. She picked up a small toy car, imagining a child's joy, and handed over 50,000 VND to the vendor with a smile. "This will make someone happy," she thought, tucking it away. Meanwhile, a tense scene unfolded in a government office, the photos showing a uniformed officer at a cluttered desk, papers scattered around. Dung, a determined investigator, stood before him. "Comrade Tan is off today, just me on duty," the officer said, his tone neutral. "Dũng not dead? I need to discuss John's case with him." The officer leaned forward. "It's your assignment now. What do you need?" Dung straightened, his voice firm. "I've tracked John, he's got a network of underlings and insiders. Direct capture's risky. I propose targeting his men first." The officer jotted notes, his pen scratching the paper. "What support do you require?" Dung replied. "I need Tana's approval for 2 more officers. Tracking John alone has been dangerous. I've hit limits I can't handle. The officer nodded thoughtfully. That's manageable. I'll inform Tien. Anything else? Dung hesitated, choosing his words carefully. I need John's full file. I'm new to this and don't know his operations yet. The officer agreed. I'll pass it on. Keep a low profile. Visibility could jeopardize you. Dung tipped his hat. Thanks. I'll leave now. Can't risk being seen here too often. As he departed, the officer muttered, Why'd they pick him? He doesn't seem up to it. Back in the village, the photo shifted to a rustic home with a vegetable stall out front, raindrops glistening on the leafy greens. Diep approached an elderly farmer tending his wares. Hello, uncle. What's this vegetable? She asked, pointing to a bundle of wild herbs. Just forest greens, girl. He chuckled, his eyes crinkling with warmth. She glanced at a plump pig rooting nearby. Your pig's grown fast. Must be a big eater. The man laughed heartily. It is. Where are you from? Diep smiled. A village 10 kilometers away. I'm staying here with James temporarily, looking for a new place. Hope I'm not a burden. The man waved it off. No trouble at all. My sons are out working, just my grandson's home. Diep nodded toward a boy playing in the mud. Is he the youngest? The man grinned. Yes, starting 2nd grade. Curious, Diep asked. Who's James to me? The man raised an eyebrow, a teasing glint in his eye. Exploring that, eh? He's distant kin. My husband's out checking the flooded fields. Diep sighed, her gaze drifting to the rain-soaked crops in the photos. So much rain, your corn must be ruined. The man nodded sadly. Fields are a mess. Everything's flattened. Diep sympathized. I've seen fields destroyed too. Useless now, right? The man shrugged. James's family, though distant. Having you here livens things up. My wife and I are lonely with just the grandkids. Diep smiled. Thanks for letting me stay. I'm grateful. The man patted her shoulder. Stay as long as you like. Now let's get you some dry clothes. The rain's picking up fast. As they moved inside, the photos showed a cozy interior with a crackling fire. Diep slipped off her wet coat, grateful for the warmth. The man handed her a steaming cup. Tea will warm you up. James mentioned you're special to him. Take care out there. Diep blushed slightly. He's been kind. I'll help around to earn my keep. The man nodded approvingly. Good girl. We'll manage together. Outside, the rain intensified, a prelude to the challenges ahead. While Dung's investigation gained momentum, the net tightening around John's elusive figure. The rain swelled into a relentless downpour, transforming the valley into a misty, emerald expanse. The uploaded photos capturing tall Napier grass bending under the weight of water, a lone buffalo grazing in the distance. Tieu Diep ventured out, her raincoat shimmering as she wielded a machete, slicing through the wet grass with determination, the sound of each cut muffled by the steady drip. The photos showed her focus, the lush landscape dotted with grazing animals, a scene both serene and wild. Suddenly, a familiar voice cut through the rain. Diep. What are you doing out here? She turned to see James, his umbrella tilted against the deluge. Concern etched deep into his features. On James. Just cutting grass, the rain's easing a bit. You were busy yesterday, right? James stepped closer, his shoes sinking into the mud. Yeah, work kept me away. Let me help. Diep shook her head. No, I've got it. Stay dry under that umbrella. James chuckled, water dripping from his hair. I missed you, so I came early. Let me wait and carry the grass back. Diep smiled, her cheeks flushed from the effort. Okay, but the rain's almost stopped. No need for the umbrella now. As she resumed cutting, James pulled out his phone, a playful glint in his eye. Let's make a memory. Smile for the camera. He recorded, narrating with enthusiasm. Meet Diep, a hard-working soul out in the rain, cutting grass for her buffalo. Without this, it'd go hungry. Diep laughed, wiping rain from her face. You should help too. Now film me cutting, then I'll record you. James took the machete, wincing as he sliced awkwardly. First time cutting grass, watch out, it's sharp. Diep guided him. Careful. Hold the umbrella for me. It's slippery out here. They swapped roles, Diep filming as James struggled with the grass. This is peaceful, early mist, tiny raindrops, so cool, he said, his breath visible in the chill. She grinned. I grew up with buffaloes at Uncle's. Cut a bit more. James nodded, handing her the umbrella. Hold this, my hands are full. They finished, the photos showing them feeding the buffalo. Its muzzle buried in the fresh pile. Steam rising from its nostrils. Diep sighed. I thought it'd just eat anything. James chopped the grass finer. Smaller pieces are easier. Twice a day, right? Diep nodded. Yes, unless it's raining. Then we let it graze. James admired her. You look cute in that raincoat. Like a robot. Diep giggled. It's awkward, but the quiet here is nice, though nights feel eerie sometimes. James grew serious, his voice lowering. I was 300 kilometers away yesterday, business trouble. John's causing chaos again. Diep frowned, her hands pausing. Is my farm okay? James reassured her. I checked it. Hired someone for hockey and the poultry. Don't worry. They headed back, the photos showing a cozy farmhouse with smoke curling from the chimney. Inside, James greeted the elderly man. Uncle, how's the farm? The man replied. Just checked the flooded fields, my corn's ruined. Diep sat nearby. Sorry I rushed last time, Uncle. What do you do lately? He sighed. Just farming, rain stopped everything. James leaned in. Uncle John's targeting my company. Diep's here for safety. I'd appreciate your help if strangers show up. The man nodded. She's safe here. I'll handle any trouble. Diep added. I'll stay close, helping around. The man smiled. She's been a blessing, cooking, chores, all perfect. James offered money. For her stay, food, utilities. The man refused. She's helped enough with the buffalo. Diep insisted. Please take it. I use your resources. The man relented slightly. Okay, but only a little. James shared. John's disrupting my business. I'll visit often, the man promised. I'll watch over her. As they sipped tea, Diep reminisced. Dad said you and he were close. You helped us rise from hardship. I'm so grateful. The man nodded. I'd love to see him again. James stood. I must go, work's piling up with John's mess. Diep, I'll be back. She nodded. Take care, I'm fine here. Their love, forged in rain and tested by shadows, stood resilient as the storm raged on.
What happened? Her deal with the crushing grapes. Obviously, she has been doing something right to be so full of vitality and joy after such a short time. She described it, her travels around the world with sparkling eyes, and her plans for the next year with a joyful smile. What a contrast to how I was. Phyllis had been so open with me. I felt encouraged her to ask her, did you ever feel like you were just waiting to die? I don't mean to I don't mean to die. I just mean feeling like all you were doing was going through the motions.